Hey, what up, y'all? I'm coming. I'm coming at y'all with a clip. Surely some of y'all done heard about what's going on in New York and various things of that nature. And I have a clip here for you guys. Let's get into it. And this is P's and Q's. Um, I really can't remember his name. I'll see if I can get his name at the end.
In New York City, and it has little to do with Eric Adams. Let's get into it.
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch is vowing to restore ethical leadership at the NYPD. It comes days after the NYPD's top uniformed officer, Chief of Department Jeff Madry, resigned abruptly. He was accused of taking sexual favors from a female lieutenant in exchange for approving overtime pay. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is live in Lower Manhattan with much more on the bombshell accusation and what comes next. Darla.
Well, Liz, these bombshell accusations do not go away with the resignation of former Chief of Department Jeff Madry. These allegations of sexual assault inside of one police plaza and overtime abuse are now under investigation by federal and state prosecutors.
We are consciously and decisively turning the page to ensure that we always match the lofty ideals and values that make this department the envy of the world.
At a promotion ceremony Monday morning, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch not calling out anyone by name, but it seemed pretty clear what she was talking about.
When I first made captain 21 years ago, I was assigned out here in Brooklyn South.
Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry abruptly stepping down over the weekend after Lieutenant Quathisha Epps filed an EEOC complaint saying between
Hold on real quick. I feel that anybody in public service, including myself, should be in top physical condition to do your job.
Exactly.
This dude being this big is unacceptable. Like, seriously. Think about it, though. I mean, the health implications, insurance, stuff like that, you should already want to be healthy anyway. Like I say, if you've watched my journey over the last couple of years, you've seen that, a small, subtle body transformations, and it's still just, it's an ongoing, process. I get it. But if you're in the police force, if you're in medical, if you're in nursing, to me, it's kind of, first of all, if you're in police, what if you got to chase somebody? This is probably why they use guns so quickly, because they can't run past, past the driveway. Nursing, or a doctor, and when you in a hospital, in a medical setting, and you trying to tell people how to live and how to change their lives, especially when you deal with like obese people. What they say, like 75% of all Americans, are either fat or overweight or obese. It's kind of hard to listen to someone who is your size or bigger. Like I said, which is why I think at my biggest, I was like 275, and now I'm about 220, and I'm trying to get to anywhere between 210, anywhere between 2 and 210 is where I'm trying to get to. But anyway. So it's like, because I'm sitting there saying, how can I tell people who, are about my, overweight, and they might be bigger than me, or they can be around about my size, tell them, change your diet, eat like this, do this, that, and the third, and yet you see no transformation from me. So I'm just saying, but as a public servant of the people, your looks, the aesthetics always plays a part. Number one, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. I'm just saying, I don't care if you're chief of police or not. Hell, I used to watch Batman back in the day with Adam West, and you saw the commissioner. He's a white dude, you know what I'm saying, but fairly built. Wasn't no big fat white dude. The fat white dude was the Penguin, the bad guy.
In 2023, and December 16th, 2024, Madry exploited.
And then the police commissioner in the Batman movies with Heath Ledger, who was it, Christian Bale, that black guy, he ended up taking a drink and dying, looking kind of like this dude here. Matter of fact, interesting. Anyway, let's go.
emotional and financial vulnerabilities as well. And after Lieutenant Quathisha Epps filed an EEOC complaint saying between June 2023 and December 16th, 2024, Madry exploited her emotional and financial vulnerabilities as well as her history of childhood trauma in order to coerce her into performing unwanted sexual favors.
So this is where, let's get into a couple of things. Okay, this has happened between like a year and a half. He had just became chief of department, so now all of a sudden he become this sexual deviant. But we're gonna get into that because it's something else to this.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then he exploited her emotional, financial vulnerabilities as well as her history of childhood trauma. I think the older I get and the more you're around people, family members, friends, acquaintances, people you work with, people you take care of, you find out that pretty much everybody has some form of childhood trauma. Not downplaying what she's saying, because everybody deals with trauma differently.
Yeah.
But we've all had childhood trauma. This woman's like in her 50s, and she's part of the police department. I'm quite sure they have psych doctors or whatever you call them that they can go and talk to and talk about their problems, talking about their emotions. People do it a lot nowadays, a shrink or whatever you call it. People do it a lot now, more and more now, because people are realizing that everyone has something that they have to deal with that is affecting their everyday life. This woman is in the police department and she's in her 50s. By now, you would think that, because this is a job where every time you walk out the door, put that uniform on, you don't know if you're going to make it home that day. That has to be traumatic in itself, whether big or small.
Yeah.
So, and then you might have to deal with people who die, someone trying to kill you. I mean, you see people who, like EMTs. I don't think I could ever be an EMT. Now, it's funny because I work in nursing. I've seen people split open. I've seen wounds. I've seen, the inside of people's bodies while they're awake. You know what I'm saying? Up and about, seeing when they, and amputations, and you can see where the bones and all. I've seen these type of things, but I don't think I could be an EMT as a person in the ambulance who goes to like car wrecks. Gunshot victims, maybe, but I don't know if I could be a coroner. Now, I've seen dead people too, but it's just something it takes a certain type of person to be able to deal with that all the time. A mortician, it's a certain type of person. Your mind has got to be thrown off to see traumatic stuff all the time. Soldiers in the army, in the war. So and those people don't talk to people to get to talk about what they seen and how they cope with it, and they end up doing throwed off stuff, and they end up being like victims or being victimized or victimizing themselves in the way they deal with stuff, or how they allow people to treat them, or how they treat people. So again, she's in her mid 50s. You would think by now, hey, she would have got some kind of help.
Troubling allegations.
Don't wait till an allegation come out. Now you want to get some kind of counseling.
And Commissioner Tish.
There he is, Eric Allen. That's the man you want on your team, man. That's the man you want on your team. You have any kind of problems, because he like this with Donald Trump right now.
Allegations, and Commissioner Tish is conducting her internal review, and whatever external review is going to take its course as well.
Lieutenant Epps is a 19-year veteran of the department and three-time cancer survivor. Her journey well documented by the NYPD. She worked under Madry as personnel officer in his previous post, but according to the complaint, the sexual harassment didn't begin until after.
Well, congrats to this lady for beating cancer 3 times. I gotta say that. Excuse me.
He became chief of department. Her attorney, Eric Sanders, telling Eyewitness News that in 2023, Madry propositioned, then sodomized Epps in his 13th floor office of One Police Plaza. The complaint going on to say in October 2024, when Epps finally developed the courage to reject Chief Madry's advances, he retaliated against her to falsely portray her as an abuser of overtime. Last week, her overtime salary of more than $400,000 a year, making headlines, prompting her, according to her attorney, to come forward about the long-term alleged sexual abuse.
Let's look at that story from the New York Post real quick. It's from NewYorkPost.com because I want to see the details of this before I, give my take. And it says how NYPD's top earner raked in $403,000 last year, including eye-popping amount in overtime. Now, this story came out November 16th, before the sexual allegations, right? And it says the highest paid NYPD employee last year raked in over $400,000 doing administrative work, with more than half of her haul coming from staggering overtime pay, the Post has learned. Lieutenant Quathesha Epps, a 19-year veteran in the NYPD Chief of Department Jeff Madry's office, pocketed an eye-watering $403,515 in fiscal year 2024. So fiscal year is what? From September to September? Something like that. Having pulled in $204,453.48. Dang, they got down to the penny in overtime pay. On top of her base salary of $164,477 in fringe benefits, according to city payroll records. Well, I guess it's public, public record because you working for the people, and people taxes are paying your salary, so they can see it all. Amazing what you cannot get away with. The astonishing overtime amount alone, which is the highest paid by the department in at least a decade, according to NYC Open Data, would be enough to cover the salaries of 3 new NYPD officers with the department's starting salary of $58,580. Epps' bloated total compensation even eclipsed her boss's earnings by more than $111,400. Madry, who's a top uniform cop, earned $292,069 in fiscal year 2024, according to city records. This has the smell of what they call it, meniscus or medis. Anyway, Fonnie Willis and Nathan Wade.
Yeah.
Kind of ring a bell. Didn't Fonnie Willis hire her boyfriend to take over a case against Trump with election interference, trying to, rig an election or whatever crap that they about to drop? And she hired a dude who didn't have no kind of expertise, who shouldn't have been in that position. Everybody said shouldn't have been in that position, and he made hell amounts of money and couldn't really describe or tell you or give any kind of evidence of why he made that kind of money, what he did to earn the money he made. And that kind of started the snowball effect to where he got kicked off the case, and now Fonnie Willis is kicked off the case, and the case is about to be dropped anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why we, as black folk, think we can get away with stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because you see it all the time. First thing we want to say is, well, they do it. They get away with it, so why can't we? Why would we? But why would we? Why would we try to do something that they do and think we can get away with? This is not our country. And this is something that has been, I've said many a times, and I'm not the only one. This is not our country to try to pull one over on the system. Especially if you don't know all the rules. And you don't know all the rules. We don't know all the rules. All we know is what they tell us and what they allow us to get away with when we're working for them, when we're working under their system.
My bad. I want to say this too. You cannot get over on a system when it's a white man made system. You just can't do it. Your job is to play, in order to get ahead, you gotta play the white man's game. It is what it is.
System. It's Just unfortunate. It's just the way it works. So y'all going, but see, it's bad. It's not. It's bad enough. Let's say you try to get your homeboy or somebody or your girl or your man or whoever a job working with you. We've all been a part of nepotism. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody does that. That's easy. But then when you start throwing out thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money, that's the big problem. Because once you do that, now you're talking about taxes. Now you're getting state and because New York is what, state and federal. You got to pay state and federal taxes in New York.
Yeah, state
So now
and
you got the
federal.
whole damn country against you. You got to be smarter than that. Yeah, I don't need no money that bad. You got to learn how to. This may be living above your means. You
Yep.
have to learn how to live, so a little more frugal. It says the NYPD's top earner, who's a lieutenant special assignment, raked in the impressive six-figure income doing administrative work task in Madry's office, such as personnel, according to a source familiar with her role. Kamala Harris and Willie Brown, anybody? The revelation enraged the NYPD's rank and file, putting their lives on the line on the street. What administrative work? Because what they're saying is the money that she make, they could have paid police to be out there on the beat. Because I'm quite sure they are understaffed, just like probably
Most
all police
likely.
force and all public servants. Understaffed to go out here and take care of people, and you paying her all this money. She can pay all this money for what? Topping you off in office? Like, really? What administrative work requires you to stay there 115 to 120 hours every effing month to apply that type of money? 115, 120 hours every month. 115 hours. Let's see, 40. So you're talking about, well, that's true. One Bronx cop with 20 years on the job raised to the post. That's ridiculous. For someone who's never in the streets, he added, she doesn't have an arrest, is not even in a position to be dealing with prisoners or courts at all. I always remember this. People who do the hardest work make the least amount of money. I learned that from Larry Hagman, the guy who played JR in Dallas. He said his father knew a guy in Fort Worth back in the day who had a farm and had like what you call illegal migrants working for him, and they worked in the farm doing all the hard work, and they made peanuts. And he said he learned it then. He was told then, hey, the people that work the hardest make the least amount of money. He said that's why I wanted to become an actor, because I wanted to make more money and work the least. So I remember him saying that, and it stuck to me, and never forgot it. He said that in the interview. It says Epps 51 worked nearly 1,627 hours of overtime. Okay, that makes sense, because I read an article where it said she had a total of 1,627 hours. I'm like, that's not a whole lot of hours, man. But now this article says it's overtime. Okay, so the wording was bad. Plus her regular shift, or an average of roughly 74 hours per week. Records show you in an administrative job working 74 hours per week. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to be the devil's advocate. It is possible, if you are new to the position, and let's say it's a managerial position, it is possible to work that many hours in a week, because I can vouch for that personally. When I was a manager, first became a manager at this clinic, your own salary. Now, I don't know. Now, they get salary plus if they get overtime, I guess the way the police force work there, they got to sign off on it. You get your base salary, but if you work overtime, then you got, write it down. You got to, document it and turn it in, and it has to be approved. Kind of like Fonnie Willis and Nathan Wade with his attorney hours, and he turned his hours in, and she was the one who had to sign off on it. In exchange, they go into her townhouse and they clapping cakes on a regular basis. Anyway, which is quite possibly what happened here, but then they didn't know how to end it. And so now somebody's pissed. But anyway, like I say, if you're in a managerial position, and I was new to the position, never ran a clinic in my life, so yeah, I'm going in, let's say 5 o'clock in the morning. Now I see people doing, had that position and they work 8 hours. Shoot, some people come in late, leave early because they're on salary. So you might see them at their clinic 4, 5, 6 hours maybe. Most days, some days they're there all day. But I'm sitting there thinking, well, dang, that's a gravy job. Yeah, I do salary if I can, do what they do. But when I first started out, couldn't do it because I'm learning learning on the job. Got a mentor, a great mentor I had, was teaching me how to do it. But anyway, I'm going into work 6 o'clock in the morning and probably not leaving till like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night sometimes. Or it could be days where I actually had to work on the floor. So I'm working 14 hours just on the floor, plus trying to do office work, managerial work also. So you're talking about 14, 16 hours sometimes, plus having to come in 5 days a week. The days I'm not on the floor, and days I'm not, working in the office one day, on the floor one day. So yeah, it's possible to work that many hours trying to figure your job out, trying to get everything, working smoothly to where you can do 8 hours, a few hours, come in, make sure everything is straight, leave, work from home, stuff like that. But from what this story says, she was just, a clerk, doing office work. So yeah, like the dude said, I don't think it's that much work to do. Are any detectives on the street making that kind of money? What about captains or inspectors running commands? Another veteran cop with over 25 years on the job barked. They're not making that kind of money. Exactly. They're working, doing all the work, and not making any money. A 3-time cancer survivor, Epps' overall pay last fiscal year also dwarfed the total compensation of the NYPD's ex-commissioner, Edward Caban, who earned a total of $288,332 in fiscal year 2024. Records show. Other NYPD officials who topped the NYPD's payroll last year included Christopher, Melavoy, a 13-year stationary engineer who raked in $389,192.65 by pulling a staggering $200,859 in overtime pay. And Lieutenant John P. Brennan, a 26-year department vet who banked in $378,437.62 with $1,680,132.38 in overtime. In total, 392 NYPD employees pocketed at least $100,000 in overtime this past fiscal year, records show. That's where your problem is right there. There's a saying I have, people, you get in trouble for something that had nothing to do with you getting in trouble for. You thought that you was going to get this overtime money and it was just going to be between the two of y'all. Y'all have this officer relationship. Yeah, you're going to let them clap your cakes, break it, knock it down a few times for a couple of $100,000. You'll feel it's worth it. But then it's about to come to an end. And so, because somebody had to sign off on it. That's the thing about it. The police chief or whatever he is can't really call her out for overtime because he's the one who has to sign the check, not the checks, but the approval for the hours. So yeah, he going down regardless. Whether these sexual allegations are true or not, he's going down just for that. And then you got all these people getting this overtime. See, when you are what do you call it? When you are a sanctuary city, and you have all these migrants come in and you have this budget set aside for certain things. And then you got these migrants coming in and then that money runs out. The feds don't send you the money they promised you. So now you got to look at your budget, right? Now you got to look at the total budget. And then when they start looking at the total budget, they come to find out, well, wait a minute. These policemen are making a whole lot of money. What are they doing? And then you start to see something ain't adding up. Because now it looks like they working 70 some hours a week. And there's no reason for that. See, even in a dialysis clinic, our managers, the corporate staff are always on us about DPC, which is like direct patient care hours. They want to be at a certain number. If it's above that certain percentage, like 1.8, 1.7 hours per patient or something like that, if it's above that, if it's in the twos, oh, they got a problem. And they're going to have meetings and they're going to say, how can we reduce this? Why is this staff member still here and we only have so many patients? You know, this time, why they not clocked out? Why they still on the clock? What are they doing? Is it documented? Are they doing some kind of like online learning or something? But if why is it the patient is off at 11 o'clock, they last patient off at 11 o'clock, they should be gone by 11:30, something like that. They're cracking down on money. That is the thing. Labor in any business, labor cost is what kills you. Any business, including the NYPD. Labor, so that's what the concern is, because everything is run on money. You can't run anything successful unless you got money. So if you got these people out here pretty much stealing money, eventually they're gonna come get you. Eventually they're gonna come and get you. Let's see. At a heated city council budget hearing in May, the NYPD's top brass attributed at least $168 million in unplanned overtime pay to policing anti-Israel protests and migrant shelters. See? That's where it started. That's where it started. See, she is like over here chilling at her desk. Ain't got nothing to do with migrants. Ain't got nothing to do with protests. She's over here doing her thing with her chief, living happily. Everything, everything is cool.
Yeah.
But over here on the other side of the department, other side of the building, not on the 13th floor, but on the 7th floor, the 8th floor, they dealing with migrants and Israelis. And them people are getting paid a lot of money. That's what they say is that was unapproved, unplanned overtime. They're like, wait a minute, why y'all out there getting this overtime money? We need to look at our budget. And they look at that and they say, wait a minute, let's look at that budget. We gotta look over here. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, maybe we can come over here and get some money. They said, wait a minute, they ain't got no money. Where they money going from? Overtime? Okay, let's look up here at this department. Wait a minute, they ain't got no money? What the hell? Where they money at? Overtime? Oh, wait a minute. Now we gotta do a whole investigation. It's some money that people are getting paid, and there's no way in hell they working like this, because I seen them in Cabo last Christmas for a whole month. When they working all these hours? Getting in trouble for something that had nothing to do with you getting in trouble for in the first place. They say employees are always going to get overtime because the alternative is to have too many employees, said Ken Gerardin, research director at the conservative watchdog Empire Center for Public Policy. But public employees, especially in an operation as large as NYPD, shouldn't be getting $100,000 in overtime. That shows something is fundamentally broken.
Anybody who has common sense and paying attention could have called this stuff out months ago. Why they just calling it out now? They could have called this out months ago, which tells me somebody either wasn't paying attention or they could have been paid to not pay attention. We don't know, but it is what it is. Let's continue.
Epps justify her voluminous overtime hours and earnings with the fact that she juggles more than one role. Over here sound like Tiffany Henyard in the department, but referred to the NYPD's Public Information Office for clarity on her responsibilities. I'm a really good lady. I do positive things. Yep, sound like Tiffany Henyard there, she said. The NYPD did not respond to the post request. So yeah, what I'm saying is, it's a lot of corruption. There's some bullcorn. Young lady
It's
done got
NYPD. It's always BS going on.
a lot of money, $400,000. No, dang well you ain't earned no $400,000. I don't care who you are. You feel me? But the overtime stop. You've been investigated, and what do? You say that the police chief touched me, or try to take advantage of me because because I had childhood trauma. That's why I had all the overtime. Man, it's a give and take. This man gave you something, you gave him something, and it was all cool. Whether you liked it or not, whether you didn't want to be a part of it, you chose to be a part of it. Matter of fact, real quick, man, let me see, because there's one more little part I want to say in this, because this is a hell of a story. Let's go to this. I want to see Daily Mail right quick, because I want Want y'all to hear it. Want to see about the allegations, like for real, like the sexual allegations. Just from DailyMail.com, it says New York City top cop is hit by explosive claims he demanded sword sexual favors from subordinate. Now this comes from, okay, that's this year. Because he's been in the news for some years. It's Jeffrey Marjorie. It said Jeffrey Marjorie abruptly resigned from his post as chief of department on Friday evening after the accusations was made by a female NYPD lieutenant. Hiring uniform officer stood down his role as he was accused of predatory sexual harassment. On Saturday morning, New York Post reported that Marjorie had traded large numbers of overtime hours in exchange for sexual favors from a subordinate. Like I say, it's a trade. It's a trade.
Yeah.
These people, we are so easy to say in this country that at 18 you're grown. 18, you got enough sense to make decisions on your own. You can choose, right? You know right from wrong. Commit a crime, go to prison for life. Have kids, that's your responsibility. You raise them. You can get a job. You can get a full-time job, work all overtime you won't, raise a family at 18. Move out your house. Graduate from high school, you're a man. You're a woman. Although we've seen people have kids at 15, 14, 16 years old, knowing doggone well they shouldn't have kids that damn early.
Yeah.
But I mean, you choose to do doing adult things, and you're not adult. You're not ready to be an adult. But yeah, you gonna say it's a legitimate concern or issue that a person in their 50s can file a lawsuit against somebody, a sexual harassment lawsuit. You gonna in the police force, you gonna tell me that person doesn't have the mental capacity or wherewithal to know to say, to say no? That you don't think that you can go up and talk to the brass and say, hey, this man has been harassing me. You can't turn your cell phone on in your pocket and start recording if this dude is doing what you say he's doing, so you can have the evidence. We're talking 2020s, not the 50s and 60s, where you come and go and try to accuse your boss of doing something, you can't prove it. But now we got all kinds of techniques. You can get pocket recorders, like microphones, little old mini microphones, like no bigger than the end of this pen. You can clip it and put in your pocket. You can't in the police where y'all plant evidence and recorders and all other kind of crap everywhere, all the time. You know how to plant evidence. You know how to put bugs in people's office. You gonna tell me that you could not, for the life of you, get evidence against this man? So because you were so distraught and so disturbed that that way you can, because you're going down now. You going down, so now you're gonna take everybody with you. You're gonna take everybody with you. To me, you was a willing participant. I'm just gonna say it. That age, just going by what people say, how you should be able to act and understand and be able to discern right from wrong. I'm gonna say you was a willing participant at 50 years old. Sorry. Lieutenant Quatisha Epps told the outlet that Marjorie had preyed upon her and even went as far as demanding sex inside the NYPD's headquarters. In an interview with the outlet, she said he wanted to have, hit all three holes. Let's say that. He was always asking me to kiss his little wee-wee. Okay. Epps and her lawyer, Eric Sanders, said they plan to file a notice of claim with the city comptroller outlining her allegations. Outlining. She had worked for Marjorie as she moved up the ranks of force from chief of housing to chief of patrol. She said that his demand started in June 2023 when he landed a top job as chief of department. His lawyers had denied all allegations. So you telling me you worked under this guy for years, but finally after 20 years, he finally said he wanted to have some? 20 years in your 50s. So I don't know how, but she says she's a 19-year veteran. He said he became like a detective or something in like 20 years ago. So give or take, let's say 10 years. So you say he gonna wait till you were 50 before he started trying to knock you down. Not in your 30s, not in your 40s, but in your 50s. Now you say, okay, now's a good time to go on and, man, come on. Epps claims that the married officer first demanded it from her while inside his office inside One Police Plaza. She said the manager was sitting at his desk with his pants open and wearing an undershirt while he rubbed his chest as he propositioned her. Epps told the outlet he said he dreamed of blanking me in my rear parts. I said, but Chief, you're the chief of the department. Man, come on. Man, come on. Man, come on. Epps told the outlet he said he dreamed about blanking me in my rear parts. I'm going to put the links in the description. You can read it for yourself. I said, but Chief, you're the chief of department. See, that's a statement you would make if you had a recorder in your pocket.
Yeah.
Not when you stand. That sounds like a damn made-for-TV movie.
Yep, made for TV.
Epps told it out. No. He rubbed his chest. His work pants were open. And he was like, I'm still an N-word. And you look good. 50. Not at 30s, not in her 40s, but at 50. This is when he decided to say this. He must not be getting down at the house. Epps added that she was asked to go into the back room of his office where he has a couch and a bathroom. And you went in there. You walked into his office. Front door, this man said he wanted some, and you didn't walk out.
Well, it sounded like to me.
You just kept walking to the back room. Probably saying, how much overtime I'm going to get? Anyway, Epps had, sobbing, she told the Post, and you know what? She told the Post, he bent me over the arm of the couch, and when I tried, hold on. Couch in the bathroom. What the bathroom got anything to do with it? Okay, arm of the couch, and when I tried to back away, but he was telling me just let me put it in a little bit. So you was like, okay, just a little. Man, come on. I had to see her say this because the way I'm reading this sounds like a bunch of bull. This sounds like some made up. It sound like old girl who tried to accuse Jay-Z of doing something at a party that she never went to because she was 13 years old. That her pimp drove her down to.
Yep.
Nah, I got questions. Man, okay, but sobbing. And I'm not laughing at her crying, but I am because I've seen women cry after being caught. You know, you see guys who say, man, I'm sorry for what I did. No, you're sorry for getting caught. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I've seen women cry and accuse somebody of trying to do the R word to them. Like, seriously. And I know for a fact that's not what happened. I know for a fact that's not what happened. But I sat there and saw this person shed tears making that accusation. So when they talking about sobbing and crying, man, whatever, man. I don't believe none of that. Epps detailed the interaction the two had in which she claimed she asked him to stop multiple times and that he was hurting her. Just a little bit? Okay. She claimed the two had intercourse 10 times after the initial interaction. Marjorie started being generous with overtime a few years after, she said. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. Because chief of the department, that's what I say, something ain't right about this story because chief of the department, that's something he just got like in 2000, like last year, right? But it says they had intercourse 10 times after the initial interaction. And Marjorie started being generous with overtime a few years after. Maybe a few weeks after. What I don't. Something ain't adding up. Something ain't right about that statement. That's not even. The timing ain't right. She said she told him of financial troubles, including her house possibly foreclosing before the overtime started coming her way. She said, "I'm in the bind, Nate. I'm in the bind. I'm in the bind too." Anyway, Epps claimed that he then had her do jobs outside of police work, which involved helping his girlfriend, another officer, under his direction. So he just a pimp, right? Got him a couple of work wives. Okay. Part of that, but hey, he's in a position of power. Women will do things for you in a position of power. Part of the overtime was to take care of his girlfriend. He would have me go apartment. He didn't say she did multiple jobs, so this could be part of it. She also claimed that she had an apartment that he asked her to give to his girlfriend that had been in her children's name. Epps added, I think he's a predator.
Okay.
He say, we're going to save your house. Like he's rescuing me when he's really just effing me. According to her, as she tried to get away from him, her high overtime earners were ousted in a list. Well, it's a whole bunch of people that's in the list. You just happen to be. She probably didn't even know everybody. They probably just came to her. That's the thing about it. They're not gonna tell you they're going out to everybody. They probably just came to her, said we investigated overtime. She's like, oh, he assaulted me, but
Most likely.
you're not the only one getting it. Oh, my bad. But he still assaulted me. Okay, now we gotta investigate that. On Monday, it was revealed she had earned, okay, I got that part. She filed for retirement after being outed for an eye-watering figures and was then suspended on Wednesday. It said in a statement, Marjorie's attorney, Lambrow, denied the allegations against his client. He said, what a convenient time to accuse somebody of misconduct now that she's been suspended by the NYPD and accused of stealing time. She's obviously drowning and in the deep end of the pool without a lifesaver. She wants to take down as many people as she can. This is completely meritless, and we deny every aspect of it. The department said in a statement, the NYPD takes all allegations of sexual misconduct seriously and will thoroughly investigate this matter. Let's see, what is this? The allegations come after former cop Tabitha Foster sued him in 2016 and accused him of making persistent sexual advances. Let me tell you something, man. When you get allegations start like this, man, it will not stop, whether true or false. Women will do things to make. Look at Jill Biden. She's finna burn down the Democratic Party before Joe Biden leaves that office. What they say, when a woman's fed up, or a woman scorned, shoot, ain't nothing like a woman scorned. Man, you better straighten up, player. Her case was dismissed in 2019 by a federal judge before a state suit against him was also dismissed this year. Marjorie joined the police force in 91 at the age of 20 and rose to the ranks to become chief of housing in 2021 and then chief of patrol later that year. He was then promoted to chief of department last summer. That's what I'm saying. Last December, if he became chief of the department, how is it like years later, he started giving her overtime? She said, but you're the chief of the department. Okay. According to his department biography. Early this year, the administrative trial judge and the department recommended dropping the disciplinary action against Marjorie. That case had revolved around a November 2021 incident in which he ordered officers to avoid the arrest of a retired officer who previously worked for him. I want to look at one more little thing, and then we'll end this, because this is crazy.
Very crazy.
This is another article from DailyMail.com that said he is so greedy for ASS. Well, married Brooklyn NYPD chief under investigation for sleeping with subordinates, including married pregnant women. Now, this woman here, she sounds like she mad like she bitter for real. It says, let me see, married Tabitha Foster, who recently left the department. Like, this story was written in 2016. So it's like 8 years ago. So this man been under investigation for a grip, knocking these bras down. He's sticking to black women. Tabitha Foster, who recently left the department, launched a tirade on Facebook calling out Jeffrey Marjorie for chasing married pregnant girls. Marjorie, who is the head of the NYPD's Patrol Bureau, Brooklyn, NY, and he still got a job though. So makes you wonder if any of this stuff is true, or he just having, even if he was just having relationships with these women, you know what I'm saying? Most time people still get fired. Brooklyn is now under investigation. My bad. Marjorie, who's the head of the NYPD's Patrol Bureau, Brooklyn, is now under investigation after Foster's rant, the New York Daily News reports. Quote, somebody needs to stop chasing pregnant married girls around the department, Foster wrote on her now deleted Facebook page earlier this week. What is wrong with this guy? She followed up with another comment writing, Jeffrey loves pregnant girls. Foster then added, why are you sleeping with all the police officers on the job when you got one at home? It is outrageous. Now, this is a bitter girlfriend. This is a bitter side chick.
Yeah.
She either found out he got a bunch of women or he done left her, don't want to deal with her no more. And so now her feelings are hurt. She also admitted to having a sexual relationship with Marjorie herself, posting a picture of the two of them together with the caption, I appreciate you allowing me to sit on your face. That's all it's good for. Yeah.
Really, huh?
Yeah, yeah. That's not a good look. She's bitter as all I do. Another post, she
Really?
claimed Marjorie had visited in the hospital in order to have relations. I'm quite sure he probably said he was coming. You probably told him, yeah, come on in. Yeah, we can do it here. Man, come on. When I was in hospital, this fool had the audacity to come for A while I had IV in my arm. She wrote. She also implied that Marjorie had her ex-husband fired and effed up her child support. Foster's allegations are being investigated by the NYPD's Internal Affairs Bureau. The NYPD is aware of allegations and faithless post. Spokesman J. Peter Donald told the New York Post the Internal Affairs Bureau is reviewing those allegations. Meanwhile, a source close to Marjorie insisted that it was Foster who harassed him. I mean, she's been stalking and harassing him for about 2 years. The source told the Daily News she would send him naked pictures of herself and begged him to have sex. See, so it's like I don't believe either side of the story. Everybody in this story is guilty of something, some form of sexual and or financial deviance, and they just all got caught. And so now the chickens come home to roost. Let me see.
Now, Eyewitness News has reached out to an attorney representing former Chief of Department Jeffrey Maddrey 3 times over the weekend. We are still waiting to hear back from him. Hopefully, we'll have that coming up tonight when we have another report on this on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. For now, reporting live in Lower Manhattan, Darla Miles, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Again, this is another story of y'all can't tell me nothing because y'all can say y'all want a man, I can say 6 foot, 6-pack, making 6 figures. This dude is a fat police chief, but he's in a position of power. And y'all wanted to come, I'm just going to say y'all wanted to come up in the ranks and come up in money.
Yep.
It's simple as that. And then you can also, I don't care what the dude look like, sexual needs are sexual needs. Because sex is something that everybody can do. Everybody know how to do. So you can get it from anywhere at any time. A lot of times when it comes to like jobs and people having like these work wives and work husbands, it's because they spend a lot of time with these people. Most of the time, they tell you to spend most of the days with people at work that do at home, which is why it's really important to, you take time off, spend your at-home time with your wife, with your kid, with your family.
Yep.
That's why I say when a man comes home, he want to come home in peace. He don't want to have to go through hell out there in the streets and then come home and have to go through hell with his woman. Because it's like, well, hell, I might as well stay out there because at least I can make money. And then with the people out there, I ain't got to come home to them. You know what I'm saying? If they got a problem, I can leave all that on the street and come to the house and supposedly be at peace. But if you're not going to get peace or can't get a peace or whatever the case at home, then he might as well stay out there and at least get paid at work. But anyway, when you say that's what most of the times things like this happen is at work. People get in relationships, you get these emotional ties, and folks get close for whatever reason. And I mean, especially if, like I say, you got a position of power, you can make things happen for people. People look at you differently, no matter what you look like. And you see it all the time. There's nothing new under the sun. You just have to be careful. You got to stay away from that. This is why, I would say it'd be good to, if you can run your own business or work somewhere where you're not so close to people and people all, stuff like that, and have you a great, home life, things like that, helps. But anyway, I feel when it comes down to it, this is just a guy, a boss, and you got women who see him as an alpha male. No matter what he looks like, his position is he's an alpha male. He make money, he make decisions, and his way go. And so you conform to that. And somehow that could be a turn on for these ladies. They know he's married. They know he had multiple women doing favors, allowing him to knock them down at any time. They know this. And they want to be a part of it. But now they're getting caught or they know what I'm saying, or they not getting their share, not getting what they feel they deserve, they should get, think they're more than what they are, not playing a role right. Now they're getting upset and they want to act a fool. And they want to call him out, but it's too late now. It's too late for that now, because now the truth is out. But anyway, this is something that we're definitely going to pay attention to. Pay attention to this, because this is a very, very intriguing story, but it's typical. It's typical. You should pay attention to stuff like this because it happens everywhere. So, and it should teach you that, like I said, you can't do, number one, you can't do what them folk do when it comes to this money. They can steal their own money. That money don't, they can steal their own money and get away with it and get a slap on the wrist. You can't, because it ain't your money. It's their money. So you gotta remember that. And govern yourself accordingly. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out of your day, but it means the world to us. But if you want to support us financially, you can get a super chat, super thanks, super stickers, and the links in the description where you can support.